Hi, as I said in my last video, I am going to make the paw pattern today, which I have kind of teased earlier. I did notice after that video that I had done one grave mistake. In the old video where I discussed that I wanted to make this paw with you guys, I said to make 77 chains in total length. I had counted one too many because there's always 4 double crochets on each end to make the border that you make as you're going. As you can see, we're going to make everything from that border and everything inside up until that border, and that's when we will finish this project. As you can see, there should be 25 in total. You can pause this video and screenshot it if you feel like you will become confident. This will be kind of repeating work, but the end result, mwah, I love it. Okay, so you're going to make 76 chains or masks, whatever you feel like calling it. I am using the technique of chainless foundation row, which basically makes it start with double crochets, so I already have the first row with border done when I'm about to start my project. You don't have to do that, but if you want to try the technique, go and check out some videos on YouTube. I will be in this video waiting, so feel free to do as you please. You do things your way. I, unlike most other people who do filet crochet, go back to where I started, so that's why my hook is back at where the tail is. Most people will not do that, but I do. After having made the chainless foundation row or standard foundation row, depending on what you want to do and call things, I tend to take a single crochet row all the way back, and when I'm starting each row for the pattern, I will actually start by not chaining 3 but stacking 2 single crochets. I do not have the proper size nor setup to actually show how I do that. If you want to learn how to do it and get edges that are kind of seamless when you're starting each row with a double crochet, you could just chain 3 and then make double crochets in the next 3 stitches, but it's all up to you. I'm doing things like this, and you should get something that looks a bit like this. Yeah, and we're also going to make 23 open squares all the way across and end with a filled square, which basically with the rest of the open one, or rather the one that made the last open one, with the 3 next, you will have in total 4 double crochets on each row. So how we do that? It is quite simple. You have your hook in the yarn loop, and we will chain 2 and then yarn over the hook into the 3rd stitch. So you skip 2, make a double crochet, you chain 2, and then skip 2 stitches, and then you make the double crochet, and we'll do this all the way across, and it looks something like this. Yeah, I will see you when we are back to start the next row of pattern. And remember, I personally am always working from right to left. I'm not a right-handed person, I'm a left-handed, but I still crochet as if I'm right-handed. And yeah, we'll meet back and when we have done the open ones and both of the end squares are filled in, I will show how it look. And remember, you always have one extra open square on each of the 4 sides in the picture, because then you have some air between the frame and the picture. Yeah, so I'm just going to finish up with the last 21 open squares and the one filled in, and then I will come back to you. See you soon. Hi again. I just made it to the end of the row. I have 3 stitches left, but to make sure we have the correct amount of open squares, we're going to count. So since it's 25 squares in total in length, we are, just have to adjust the camera because I had to change my sitting position because of my back. We are going to double check that all the open squares are 23 in total, and plus the 2 filled in, that equals 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, I just counted to 23 in Norwegian because I am Norwegian. I am sorry for that. It just slipped out of my mind because Norwegian is my native tongue. So yeah, but in the last 3 stitches of each and every row we're making the double crochets, you end with 3 double crochets. So in total you'll then have 4 at the end. And I've already made one because I had to make the open square, so I'll make number 2, number 3, and in the last one, number 4. If your tensioning is somewhat off, it'll be bend and curl up on itself. That's okay. I have that problem too. I have too tight of a tension. Too loose might have some other weird effects. I am not sure, but the more you work on it, the more it'll straight out, and if you also block it afterwards, it'll help. So yeah, you should have something that looks like this, and I personally am gonna take a row of completely normal single crochets all the way back, nothing in the stitches except for the top of the double crochets I just made, otherwise around. That's how I get the look I'm after. That's how I do it. You do not have to go back and then make the next row of pattern. That's just how I want to do things, but I will be back once I have done that, so we can actually start the paw. I forgot to mention, if you are going to do the same as me as I'm doing to make this pattern, you are going to have to make 2 single crochets in the open space around the line, around the chains, and then the third one into the top of the double crochets. So we'll have something that looks ish like this. Yeah. Okay. So this will not be a much longer video because it's just going to be the same as the next, well, from the next row onwards until you have done the complete picture. You will just make a row of open squares in between the two on the end, and then double crochet all the way on top, and then you're done. I had thought I would do every single row and do parts because I can't actually do all of the pattern tonight, mostly because of it being 1 a.m. and I have to be in bed soon. But I will do what I can. So we are going to always start the same way. You make in total 4 double crochets. Does not matter how you actually do it. I just stack 2 single crochets on top, and then it seems like I have made the same kind of double crochet as I do in the next, let's say, next space. Okay, so now you have made 4 double crochets in total, and then as the second row, this one, where the pattern actually starts, we'll have to count the open. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if you go back, you will actually see the pattern. So you will see that we have 6 open squares. So then we make 6 open squares. 1, and there's pretty much little variation to how you made how you're doing things now compared to otherwise. We're basically using 3 kind of stitches, chains, double crochet, and single crochet. That's everything you need. And yes, I'm using the US terms because that's what I have learned on English. I think if you are British and are paying attention to this video, you may find it that I am describing a treble, or talking about a treble at least, and be frustrated about that because I'm far closer to UK than the US, but like YouTube is mostly US dominated. So then I do what I see, and that's how I do things. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have 6 open squares that you ish can see. And then the pattern says that I have to fill in 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. So if you then take 4 times 3, it means you'll make 12 double crochets. So that's what I'll do. And you'll end up with 13 in total when counting the double crochets. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And just to show you, here you can see I have filled in 4 squares. And then the pattern says 3 open. So then I will make 3 open squares. So 1, chain 2, and a double crochet in on top of the old double crochet you made. So 1, 2, 3, and then it says 1, 2, 3, 4 filled in again, so that we make yet another 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 9, 10, 11, 12. So as you can see, that's all of the squares we need to fill in. There's 4, 3 open and 4. And then you'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 open, and then end with a filled in square, which equals in total 4-ish when you count the border, if you can say it like that. So 1, 2. It's quite easy to know where to make the double crochets in the open squares when there's an open one under it, because then you just make it on top, kind of like stocking. 3, 4, oops, 5, 6. And then you make the 3 double crochets for the end. 1, 2, 3. Your end result should look something like this, and I will be back once I have made the row of single crochets all the way back, and then I will tell you the next step of the pattern. Okay, we're back, and I have just pre-started, but I made the first 4 double crochets. So the pattern now, and I will actually show it to you. As you can see here, it's quite a long row of double crochets, so we are on this row, which is the second row with the actual pattern, or row 3 after the start. So to make this row, we are going to get started on one square before these, so 5 open, and then just make double crochets all the way over until you have 5 open squares left. We'll do the exact same method of open and close squares, so that's what we'll do. Okay, so I just made a new row. I have not gone back with the single crochet row yet, but it'll look something like this when you're finished. It does not matter what size of thread you're using, as long as you yourself are happy with it. Just be mindful, the bigger the thread, the bigger the project. So I will be back once I am ready to start the next row. Hi, I will just quickly be back. I said, checking in and starting the next row. I will start as usual with my double crochet in the number of 4, so I'm making 4 double crochets, and after having done these, we are going to make the next row of the pattern, and actually we're going to make the 2 next, because the 2 next rows are identical. Because as you can see, the next 2 rows have the same amount of filled in squares. So the next 2 rows will be 4 open and then filled in all the way over until you just have 4 open squares left. So after we've done that, I'll be back and we will do the next row. Okay? Hi, I'm just checking in again before I make my final few rounds for the day, because it's now in 5 minutes ish. It's 2 a.m. and I really ought to go to bed now, but I'm having so much fun with crocheting, so I'll just do maybe a couple more rows or so. I have now done the 2 next identical rows, and it should look something like this. So for the next row, we're going to have to make 5 open squares on each side, which means we will decrease and it'll be the same as the first full length row. So let's do that, and I will check in once I have done that, so we can compare and you can see that we'll have the same kind of picture. Hi, for the I just finished the last row I talked about, so I now have a decrease from the 2 identical ones, and I have slightly begun the next row, but I will actually tell you what to do next. Next, you will have to make the 4 double crochets in the start as usual. Then you're going to make 1, 2, 3 open squares. Then you have to fill in 2, 1 open, and make a full row until you have decreased as it will look like, and then 1 open and 2 full squares, and then 3 open and the last double crochets. So since it's starting to get slightly intricate, I will do this in sections. So first we have to make the 3 open squares, and then we're going to make 2 filled in. So that equals 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it'll look like this, and then you're going to have to make one open. So chain 2 and skip the 2 next and into the 3rd stitch, and then you're going to make the full row of double crochets until we have 3 left from the last row, and I will be back once I have gotten there. And actually I don't have to be back, because this pattern is actually mirrored. So when you first made the 3 open ones, when you started to make the actual pattern, the middle one is the middle of the whole thing. So what you're doing now, you'll just mirror all the way through. But since we are just working together, we'll make the full row, and I will be back once I've done that. Okay, I have now made the last row for tonight. I really want to continue. It's like it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It has 21 rows in total if you count the border rows also in height, and I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I really want to do 2 more, because 10 is like 10 is one of my most favorite numbers. We gotta do 2 more. At least I will see how it goes when I'm struggling to see, kind of, so I maybe should end the video, but at the same time I'm just having so much fun. Well, as you can see, it kind of looks like ears, but it's the start of the toe beans. So we will start this row as usual with 4 double crochets, and there's no really any best way to do it. You do it what works for you, but you have to start the row with 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And according to the pattern, we are now at this row, so we have 2 open and then 1, 2, 3 filled in. So that's what we'll do. So 2 open and 1, 2, 3. And pretty much all the numbers and such you see on the page is related to counting the pattern. So there's nothing more than that. Counting the pattern, perhaps counting some other pattern, but like nothing else. So yeah. So first we have 2 open squares, then we are going to make 3 full ones. So that means 9 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So then the start of the toe bean should look like this now. And after these 3 filled in squares, we are going to make 2 open. So chain 2, double crochet in the 3rd stitch, chain 2 and double crochet in the 3rd stitch. And then we are going to have all this way. This row is just filled in until there is a hook like there's supposed to be 2 at most on top of the open one from the last row. So I'll be back once I've done that, and then after the 2 open ones, made the 3 full ones, and then gone back because I do that. Hi, I've just done another row and it looks like this. It'll be easier to see once I have fully made it, but like the toe beans are starting to take shape. I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will make just one more row and then I will call it quits for now, and I will make a new video the next time I work on this, because this has been fun. I may be doing a very bad job at trying to guide you through this pattern of mine. Hopefully I will do better in the future, but this is like trial and error, and I'm also mostly trying to just share my love for filet crochet, and this is a quite small project, so we will just have to, for the last row of the day, we are starting as usual with double crochets in the number of 4, so we are doing 4 double crochets at the start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the pattern says 1 open and a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets. So then we are again making 1 open and then 5 filled in, then 2 open. Okay, let's do that. So after making the first 4 double crochets, we chain 2, and then we are filling in 5 squares, so that equals 15 double crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then we are going to make 2 open squares. So then we are chaining 2, then we are making a double crochet in the 3rd stitch, and then chain 2 and make a double crochet in the 3rd stitch. And then we're going to make a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets. No, not 7 double crochets, but 7 filled in squares of double crochet, which is 7 times 3, so 21. So let's make 21. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then we are going to make 2 open squares. So chain 2 and a double crochet in the 3rd stitch, chain 2 and a double crochet in the 3rd stitch. And then we are going to make 5 filled in squares, so that equals 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoops, I have made 12. I missed my thread, so I have made 12, 13, 14, 15, and chain 2 and double crochet in the 3rd stitch, and end with 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now it looks something like this. And just because this video is starting to get long, I will end it now. Next video will be far shorter, I think. But for me, I am just going to end this now with saying I'm taking a row of single crochet all the way back to the start, and then I will in the next video tell how we are doing the next row, and hopefully you have found this video entertaining and or fun to watch. So yeah, and I hope you're taking care of yourself, taking breaks when you're working, and or just being your usual self. That's enough for me. And obviously, I hope you are enjoying the yarn craft world, or any type of crafting really, because I often watch, for example, uh, leatherworking while working with my crochet. So yeah, I know I'm not looking in the camera, but like I need to see where I'm putting my hook because of the small stitches of the thread I'm using. Um, I hope by tomorrow that you will get the part 2 done by then. I know that I'm not a professional YouTuber. I know I'm not the best at explaining, but I'm really trying, and uh, we are just going to have some fun. And if you don't like the video, you are not forced to watch it all. I'm just trying to make a paw together with you as a viewer. And I did come up with tricks like looking at other people making, for example, the chainless foundation row, which is what I am using when I start any kind of flat crochet like filet. And if I ever have to put on some other yarn, I will show how I do that. So yeah, this has been entertaining for me, and hopefully we will be done with the paw by tomorrow. And although it may only seem like 45-ish minutes now for you, it's been over over many hours for me because of the time it actually takes. Although I am doing quite a lot in a short amount of time, but it takes a lot of time to actually explain how the pattern is going to be made, and therefore it'll take longer than usual because I'm filming with you. This is just, as I might have mentioned just recently, trial and error, and hopefully it'll work itself out. So yeah, uh, I do not have any free uh, safety pins, so I'll just leave a big loop, and I'm now going to sleep. Just to recap, this is what it looks like now. As you can see, the paw is taking quite a good shape, and we have started on 2 of the 4 toe beans. So we have made in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows. And just to be extra sure, I'm going to double count the rows on the pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's where we are now. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's 21 rows high. So we have 11 rows left. Oops. And by tomorrow we will have made the last 11 rows, because now that I don't have to explain the basics, it'll take quite a lot of less time to make the part 2 video. Yeah, so I'm wishing you a good night, day, morning, whatever, and hoping you are enjoying the craft. And thank you for joining me on this adventure of me trying my best to guide you through the pattern of a paw. It's quite simple. I'm taking it closer to the screen so that you could screenshot it and or count yourself, and perhaps even work on it before I am able to make the next video, or if you just want to experiment. But this is how I'm working. It's messy, but it works. So yeah, I will now say good night. So good night and sleep tight, and don't let the bedbugs bite. Bye.